Welcome to Behind the Book. Today, I'll be talking with Judith Virag of Clean Club Calgary. She is going to be talking about telling her story her way. Let's just dive in. I'm Heather Andrews, and on Behind the Book, we journey beyond the cover. On each episode, I dive deep into the minds of authors, unlocking the mysteries behind their literary creations. Discover the stories behind the book exclusively here with me. Welcome back to Behind the Book. If you remember on the previous episode, we spoke to Judith about from business meltdown to business coaching. She's back today, and we're going to talk about how she told her story her way. So welcome back, Judith.
Thank you, Heather.
Absolutely. So we left off with just all of the transformations that had happened and, you becoming an author. And that you actually didn't think that you had a story, and you're still a little bit baffled about that. But when you think back on putting that idea to paper, what did that feel like for you?
That's a very interesting question. It was just really weird to see it down on paper. My biggest worry actually was like, is this comprehensible? Is this, because when it's your own story, sometimes I feel like that I'm just going in like circles, or I am just trying to this is my story and nobody else will understand it. And then once I had it on paper, I was like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna send it in. So I sent it in to you guys, and then I was waiting patiently and for the feedback, and I didn't hear anything. And then we had our Zoom calls and everything. I was like, maybe it's not so good. And then you came back with like literally one edit, and I was just baffled by that. I'm like, wow. Maybe I can do this. Maybe this is something that we can work on, and this is maybe not so hard. Yeah, you know how it is. Yeah. Like you don't know what to expect. So this was my very first experience. I didn't know what to expect, yeah. But the whole experience turned out to be really good.
Excellent. So how are you viewing your story now that it has been on paper?
I think I just view it like it's a little bit of an out-of-body experience. I look at it at that person. It's almost like it's not me. But I also view it courageous, that I was able to actually, say some things and tell some things. I'm very social, I'm very friendly, but sometimes I guard things, like about my family or about my experience. But this was just a good opportunity to put it down, because the way I look at it, if it, even helps just one person, one new business owner who's struggling, or because I give 4 tangibles, right. Kind of what my advice or my experience was rather, and if that helps anybody, that's great, That's awesome. And I don't talk about anything that people don't know, right?
Absolutely.
Just sometimes hearing it from somebody else, it helps, right?
Absolutely. I love that. And that was my next question, and so you got ahead of me there, which is great. And you mentioned the 4 tangibles. So let's just go back there for a second. And as a reader, partakes in your chapter, what is your wish for them, and what are those 4 tangibles? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do remember. One of them is definitely do not hire family and friends.
Got it.
That was really difficult for me. We talked about it in a previous episode.
Yeah.
And just, picking a niche, just staying in your own lane. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we get really busy with the noise around us, and we get busy with other people's noises.
Yeah.
And just don't worry about that. Just do your own thing, because it's just so much more efficient. I'm all about efficiency.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that would make sense. Giving your
and not only, but like your mental and emotional efficiency.
Right.
Because if you're always busy with other people's stuff, then you don't have time for your own, and that's when you can have some meltdowns. Always learn, always be learning, and then also ask for help. Absolutely. We talked about that. I did ask for help, and I think people sometimes they think when they're asking for help, it makes them not good enough. And I think what makes you big is actually when you ask for help, because then you realize you get somebody else's opinion, and then you realize like, oh my God, maybe I wasn't doing this right, or thank you so much for helping me with this. You know, it can open a lot of doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So who is your ideal client in your cleaning company?
Well, we have 2 ICPs,
Okay.
and they have a name. And one is geared towards the working professional couple, and the other one is, of course, geared towards families, because we see that these 2 groups of individuals are the ones who probably need it the most, especially with families nowadays. You know, kids are so busy. It's not like what it was for us back then. You know, they have all these activities, and then now the parent is involved taking those kids to the activities, so their time is spent either, you know, at a gym or at a pool or at a hockey arena, and they're not at home to do cleaning. Or the working professionals, they are just so busy building either their own business, or maybe they're really high up in the ranks and they just need more time to get everything done that needs to be done, so they don't have time for the cleaning.
So what would you say, this is sort of off topic of the story.
Yes.
What would you say to that working mom who is overwhelmed and she's saying, oh, I can do it myself, I can do it myself. I know it goes back to the asking for help, but what would you say to that mom who's overwhelmed and is not doing things for herself because she feels that she has to clean her house?
What I would say is, I think right now in the world that we live in, moms, dads, all together, they need to be the super parent, because nowadays the kids need more time. Even though we have all this technology, we need more time, we need to spend more time and everything. So I just would tell them that it's okay. A lot of people still have pretty like the feeling that, you know, I can hire a cleaning person because I am the one who does it best. That's not necessarily true. Every cleaning can be customized. We spend a lot of time training our staff, and we have a really good system where we can plug in their preferences as to what they want. And then sometimes they also, like, you know, it's a shame to hire somebody. And the most thing that I get when I go out quoting is like, oh, my house is a mess. And you know what? This is your sanctuary. You do with your house whatever you want.
Yeah.
And if you need help cleaning, we'd be more than happy to come in cleaning. More than happy. And then there's so many things that can be, you know, coached. Sometimes people feel like, well, I've got too much clutter. Well, let's just put them in boxes, and then they're not clutter anymore. They're organized clutter in a box. Right? So I just would really tell them that it's okay. It's okay to ask for help. You know, sometimes it comes down to budget. And a lot of times people don't realize, like, once a month cleaning, when you know that your shower is going to get scrubbed, your floor is going to get good vacuum, and it's going to be very well mopped and everything like that, that's also affordable. Yeah. It's actually quite affordable.
Absolutely. I always constituted it when I was back working in healthcare, and they came in like, you know, every other week, and it was like $100. I was like, I just have to work 2 hours of that day to pay for my cleaner.
Yeah.
Like, and you know what? And it stopped the arguing.
Yeah.
It stopped it just gave me peace of mind. Mm-hmm. And I was able to go be with my kids and go do something fun.
Yeah.
And I remember being married, and it was always a point of contention.
Absolutely.
And I still have made my kids, I still taught them how to clean, because there was there was the touch-ups, right, that needed to be done. But it really did create peace within our family, and it helped the relationship between the spouse and myself.
We were just talking about this, that what a big source of fights it can be. Yeah. You know, when one person wants something done in a relationship and they don't feel that the other person is pulling their weight. And a lot of times it just comes down to really small things, like who's going to do the vacuuming, who's going to put the dishes into the dishwasher, and things like that. So it's definitely a marriage saver. Yes.
So getting in touch with Judith it can be life-saving, and it can be a story changer for your mindset, your peace of mind, and the sanctuary of your home. Judith, where can people find you on social media?
Oh, we can be found everywhere, of course. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and also we are on TikTok and YouTube, and it's all under Clean Club Calgary.
Absolutely. And just one final thing. Where did the name come from?
This is a good question, and I love this question. It was a toss-up between two names, and Clean obviously was a given, and Calgary was a little bit given to just because we're in Calgary.
Yeah.
And I haven't thought about maybe Clean Club Edmonton or Clean Club Vancouver yet, but it could be in the works. And then the club just comes from, I had these 5 wonderful people in my living room when I decided to start Clean Club Calgary, and they helped me with my brand because Clean Club Calgary is 5 years old. And then, 5 years ago, I was a lot smarter about trying to set up my brand. And when we were talking, they just saw me always talking with my hands. I think I do that right now a lot too. And they said the club, because I am very inclusive. I'm very much a social person. I always wanted to have this club around me. So that's how Clean Club came about. The other one was Lust for Dust.
Oh, I love it.
So I think that would have been a really good one too. But, a lot of people are very religious, so we didn't want to play with that.
No,
yeah,
exactly. I love that. Thinking about this whole episode once again, and just hearing you talk about the passion that you have for your company and the mindset, and you're one of those I'm gonna just say like heroes. Aww. To so many.
You're so
because
sweet.
You have come sort of a full journey, and you've come that full circle, and the peace of mind that your company can bring new people coming to Canada and people who live here, and also going into their home and making everybody feel at peace. So that's what I've learned from you, is just finding that peace and that give back in just your story.
Well, thank you. That is very nice to say. Thank you so much.
On the next episode, we're going to talk to Judith about how she put her ideas to the page. We'll see you then. It's been a literary voyage here on Behind the Book. My sincerest thanks to our featured authors for letting us peek behind the curtain. I'm Heather Andrews, urging you to keep exploring the vast universe of literature. Until our next chapter, happy reading.